I've keyed into the system. I've occupied my office and I'm working. So right from my inception and inauguration as the head of the civil service on the 3rd of June this year, I have been doing the work that is expected of me as the head of the civil service of Akwa Ibom State. So it's been quite interesting serving. Late for payment of October salary by the 30th. And that has been very consistent. And this has helped the workers, to plan their life, pay their children's school fees and take care of family needs and do a number of their personal things and meet their needs because they can measure when the salary will come. It has taken the civil servants away from borrowing to live for the salary not coming in time. And when you look at the situation in other states of the Federation that we've been hearing, the salary of workers being owed for months, you can only imagine what life is like for the workers there, how inconsistent they will be at their duty post because they do not have the means of livelihood. They cannot get to the office in time and sit tight to do their work. Transit will be practiced in such places, but it's not like that in Akwa Ibom State because His Excellency has ensured that his workers get salary as I went to, and how he does it in the face of
economic hardship.
The economic hardship and downturn. I mean, it's something that every Akwa Ibom, every worker of Akwa Ibom should really commend the government and do its best to reciprocate this good gesture of His Excellency, the Governor. The other aspect of welfare of the workers is promotion of the civil servants. His Excellency very recently has released a promotion of 2017 and 2018 for the core civil servants. And for the in Subeb, he has released, in addition to the core civil servant, he has released a promotion of the non-teaching staff there. In addition to that, he also released the promotion of teachers in the State Secondary Education Board. Before now, we're talking about 6,000 workers being given promotion. But as I speak now, with the very recent one he has released, it's over 7,000 workers who have received promotion. And this is enhancement. People, the staff move from one grade level to the other, and this is increase in economy of the workers, and this has gone a long way to also boost the morale of the workers because the promotion that waited for some period, His Excellency out of his magnanimity has released this promotion, and it's really, and the workers when I go out, I regularly go out and interact with my workers. The workers are so excited because when he released the promotion, it wasn't quite a few weeks after the letters were received. So it wasn't like His Excellency was just making a media talk without doing it. He talks and does what he says. So the workers have received promotion letters, and they are so happy with His Excellency, the Governor, for doing this. And they are hoping, and they plead that as it has cleared the arrears up to 2018, that the 2019 promotion, which the process is on, that he should also show the same magnanimity and goodness to the workers, and also not allow this one to run into arrears. So I want to believe His Excellency, the listening governor, will listen to the workers and do something prompt also concerning the 2019 promotion of workers. And we're still on welfare.
Yes.
You've not done yet.
Yes.
His Excellency has also piloted workers' housing scheme, what we call affordable mass housing for the workers, in 2 local government areas that are within the Uyo capital city, in Akwa Ibom local government area. In fact, in particular in Ikon Tansit, where the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is developing an estate. As we speak, up to 100 units of the houses are ready for off-takers in that estate. And the other one in Ibiono that is also within the Uyo Capital City Development Authority at the Ikpedu. Apico is also developing estate, building houses. About 80 houses are ready there, also for off-takers. So all this together, makes, housing is something, shelter is something very important to any person. So for His Excellency to think, provide the land and give other enabling environment, for those estates to be developed so that workers can own their own houses. You can rent to own a house within the estate. Is something that workers are also very grateful to His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State. Not every person may be able to buy a house or rent to own a house in the 2 estates. We have also opened other avenues of improving on the welfare of workers in terms of housing. We are partnering with the Federal Mortgage Bank, giving what is called house renovation loans to workers, that they take this loan at very low interest rates, and are able to renovate the houses for those who have their personal houses, and maybe over the years the house is dilapidated. They can take such a facility. I'm guaranteeing them on behalf of government. So every civil servant who applies to the Federal Mortgage Bank and is qualified is guaranteed
to get a loan.
Is guaranteed that house renovation loan. There are so many welfare things.
You still give car loans to workers?
Car loans are available for workers, for those who also apply. And recently, you've also heard His Excellency released 10 new vehicles, brand new vehicles to permanent secretaries. And he has promised that before long, he's going to give the cars to other permanent secretaries who are yet to benefit. And before you know it, the permanent secretaries would have had vehicular support from His Excellency the Governor. And as he has done that for permanent secretaries and the staff are benefiting from car loan, this thing will trickle down, and the workers will be very comfortable serving in the Akwa Ibom State civil service. So His Excellency has done.
You are not really talking like a new man. I thought.
In areas of,
so you've been here for a while.
I've been in the system.
Yeah.
I've been a director in the service
Okay.
for upwards of 10 years.
Wow.
And I've been a permanent secretary in the service and a head of service at the higher level of these other offices.
Let's talk about what you introduced immediately. You were sworn into the office. You introduced workout for workers. You said fitness. I wanted to talk about that one. Also talk about what civil service used to reward best civil servant of the year and all those stuff. I've seen a couple of vehicles on the road being given out by this government. Tell us about that.
Yes, in terms of jogging to serve better. As I came in, I had to reinvigorate that exercise. And if you come out on the second Saturday of every month and see how my workers,
How fit they are.
outfits they are, how they are cheering up, participating in the jogging to serve better. Physical exercise is something that is beneficial to everybody, and we have sanitized them, that is for their own goodness, for their well-being, to come out and undertake the exercise. And it also makes room for people to get together, talk together and relate with one another. When you are one ministry, the other one is in another ministry. Sometimes it may be difficult to have avenue of that in the light mood for you people to meet and socialize, and it also gives that room. Then the other aspect that you mentioned is reward.
Yes.
By the time I came in, it was late to undertake because the civil service day is usually held in the month of June.
Okay.
So I'm planning that
By
God's grace and with the approval of His Excellency the Governor, that we'll be able to propose workers day, that we also have another occasion of looking at ourselves. What have we contributed to the system, and what can the system give to us? There has to be that system of reward for hard work, for dedication. I received such award in the past, far back in the past, as award for hard work by His Excellency the Governor, far back in the 90s.
Wow.
So it's something that motivates. I know how I felt about it, and I would try to entrench that in the service.
Okay, if you just join us, having a media chat with the head of civil service, Akwa States, Elder Effiong Essien. Of course, listen to him talk, you realize that he's an old man. He's just an old wine in a new jar. Let's get to talk something very important. He's been making round Nigeria, minimum wage, federal government, talking about the implementation of it. Kaduna State said they're ready to pay, and they have started paying. And what's the position of Akwa Ibom State? Because people heard that this committee was set up, an implementation committee was set up. And up till today, a lot of people would want to know what has been the arrangement to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage.
Thank you very much. The dedication of His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, to the welfare of the workers in the state cannot be faulted at any point in time. Quite early, when the issue of the minimum wage came up, this state was the first state to set up a committee to begin to work out modalities that Akwa Ibom State government would pay the minimum wage when the template for it is finalized. Recently, we have heard that the Joint Negotiating Council, together with the labor unions, they worked out an agreement at the federal level, and we sent a delegation of Akwa Ibom people, workers, and union people to attend that joint negotiation. So as soon as they have brought the template, what had been agreed at the national, we are going to call. I'm the chairman of the committee,
Okay.
the minimum wage committee here in the state. I'm going to call a meeting of that committee, and I can tell you that Akwa Ibom State will be one of the first states that will come out with the template, will domesticate the minimum wage here in the state, work out the consequential benefit of the percentages increase in the wages of the workers. So His Excellency is expecting a report from us, which would deliver very soon for his approval.
Okay. Head of service, one aspect that is very critical is gratuity and pension. Oftentimes when I sit on radio, people will call, being a primary school teacher for so years, since 1990 something, we've not received gratuity, we've not received pension, and so on and so forth. First of all, I want you to clarify, who is in charge of primary school teachers? And who's supposed to pay them this gratuity and pension, so that we can from there move forward to the next level? Because oftentimes when I hear that government is paying gratuity and is paying pension, it seems that the primary school teachers are not involved. What's going on?
The gratuity and pension for primary school teachers, as you want us to start with, is the responsibility of the local government system. And you know, they have a joint account, and it's from the joint account that such payments are made. But for the state government, His Excellency the Governor has been very consistent in payment of the pension. The pension, now when you retire, you move from the salary payment platform to pension payment platform. But for the areas of the pension that were there before the commencement of the electronic payments that are ensured that when people move from the salary platform, they earn pension on the same day. The same consistency in payment of salary is applied. Wow. So the only issue has been the backlog that were there before now. And His Excellency is working assiduously to ensure that he clears the pension. For the civil servant, core civil servant, he has cleared the areas of gratuity and pension up to 2016.
He has cleared the one he inherited.
He inherited, because these areas have been there before
you've been in the system. Why did it take successive governments that long to clear all these, and then perhaps keep the burden for this government?
Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that right here, but I'm talking about what His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State currently is doing. You know, this thing runs into billions of naira, and it's a heavy weight on the economy of the state. And it's not expected that this can be cleared, you know, in one sweep.
And what I'm asking is that we had a whole lot of oil boom 2011. There was so much money in the state and in the country. Why is it that civil service was not taken into consideration? You've been in the system for a while. You should know the reason.
My brother, we have all been here, and we saw this thing drifting without civil servant being paid that gratuity, and the areas being left. So we should, at the moment, commend His Excellency for his goodwill to clear what he inherited.
So the right to call Governor Dom Emmanuel the Messiah of civil servants?
Call him so, and call him more. He deserves it. So he has, for the core civil service, like I said before, cleared up to 2016. And for the next of kin,
yes,
of diseased I know that is where you head to. For the next of kin of diseased pensioners, he has cleared up to 2015. So he's doing a whole lot in clearing this backlog and moving toward paying this gratuity and pension regularly. So that is his target, and I want to believe before long he would be able to attain this target of these things, just like the salary is paid promptly. These entitlements, these gratuities and pensions are also paid promptly.
Okay. 30 minutes down the line, then we want you to also try and program your questions because very soon we'll open the phone lines and you participate. We also allow you to make good use of our social media handle and send in your question. The head of service, like you say, like we say, is not talking like a new person. The man knows the job. And so you just got to ask him any question you wish to ask so that you have clarification. Very importantly, too, something that actually happened in this state that people say with your emergence as the head of service, perhaps you're definitely going to put it in the right perspective. Contributive pension. You know, civil servants will contribute money for their pension and so on and so forth. It did not really work. We heard there were some fraudulent guys in the system who were milking this very effort dry. What have you done differently? Are you refunding the money? Or, sorry, is the government refunding the money? Or are you going to continue the process?
The first instance would be to refund the money because of the fraudulent practice and untoward behavior of people in the process of that contributory pension. The scheme was suspended in the state, and reform was made, although the reform of the contribution has not been completed. So the fair thing to do is to complete the reform to everybody, and then look at the system again. Where did we go wrong? What did we not do rightly? How can we ensure that there is transparency, there's accountability, and ensure that by the time we go back to the scheme, that we are doing things rightly and moving steadily, doing things rightly. And that would come by the time we have entrenched a system, have a law, a pension law,
okay,
that would guide the operation of the pension scheme. So at the moment, the government is making effort to refund for those who made that contribution over the years and clear those reforms.
Any forensic audit, just like federal government is doing on NDDC, perhaps to get the culprit apprehended, and maybe punish them accordingly.
I have not seen a record of that activity. And,
some people are saying that, like I got a call today, said you are the one to do it.
Okay, maybe at this stage I can accept I'm new, that
Yeah.
I'm going to.
You're going to
look into it.
Okay.
I will look into such matters, but at the moment we're looking at clearing the reform of those who contributed to the scheme.
Okay, I'll leave the floor open now. We'll get questions from the audience. Those of you who are coming from different media, you can ask any question you wish to ask. We have, okay, maybe let me start with Fund from Inspiration. You ask any question for the head of service?
Absolutely.
Okay. You come closer, walk closer here, so that we can see you. Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much, Samson. Good afternoon, head of service. Good afternoon, everybody. So quickly, my question is on not too far from that of gratuity. what have you done in terms of sensitizing and giving out the information to the public to know? Because what you've just said now is completely amazing, that the state government has taken care of the backlog gratuity up till 2016. But the information out there in the public seems to be in the contrary. So what mechanism have you simply put in place to inform the people that actually the state government has done this and this is actually practical and tangible? Thank you.
Okay. That's information dissemination. Any other question? We treat this one first. Yes.
First and foremost, Akwa Ibom. I wish to congratulate you on your intervention as the head of civil service. You talked about workers' motivation. Sir, recently there was an advertisement for the workers' seminar and which would relate to the compulsory exam. And then all of a sudden it was postponed indefinitely. So what could have led to?
Okay. Maybe we take the two now.
We take it.
Sensitization, promotional exams. Yes.
Yeah, for those who have received their gratuities up to the period that I have said, the records are there. So I don't know, maybe we take to publishing it in the papers.
Yes.
And when you start publishing such financial information to the public, you know, some of the beneficiaries may even be at risk. But if His Excellency approves that we do short publication, we'll consider doing it. But what I'm telling you, the records, you can confirm that.
Maybe you just mentioned
from the office of the Accountant General. Okay. I mean, you can anybody can confirm the extent that the gratuity has been paid to confirm what I have said to you.
Okay.
So people, it's personal benefit to, it's not public benefit, it's personal benefit to the individual, the retiree.
So the problem is that when these people don't get this money, they cry heaven. But when they get the money, they seems to be quiet.
That is human tendency. That's human tendency. They will want to whip sentiment. But by
Would one ask why did you postpone the promotional exam?
Yes, the promotion exam, seminar and exam were postponed because the period of the seminar and the exam coincided with National Council on Establishment.
Okay.
That is ongoing now. The permanent secretary in Department of Establishment and directors there are already in Asaba attending that council. I'll be joining them within the week, the concluding part of the council as is expected of me as the head of service. So the technical aspect of it, they're undertaking now. And there's no how would have carried out that exercise. The Department of Establishment is directly responsible for organizing the seminar and the exams. And this other one is a national assignment. So by the time we fixed the date, we did not, the head of civil service of the Federation did not announce the council that comes up yearly and involves the 36 states of the Federation. That's why we had to postpone it as soon as we end the council this week. It's ending this week. So okay. In a very short while, we're going to announce dates for the seminar and the exams.
Okay, speaking with Elder Effiong Essien, you see how relaxed he is. He's not under any tension. The man is intelligent. I've interviewed a whole lot of people. This gentleman is intelligent, and I want to give it to him. Let's get to a very bordering issue, retirement and replacement. Often one is being retired, but no employment. Because people are saying if you retire like 20 people this month, you should also employ 20 people this month to make up the vacancy. What is the strategy or the blueprint of replacement now that you've taken over the civil service?
Well, if I may look at the retirement and replacement in another perspective.
Okay.
I know when you are in office, let's take the cadre of a
younger ones for
let's take the cadre of a director.
Okay.
You are a director in a ministry. As you are there as a director and you know you are retiring, it's something I've been preaching since I came in. Mentorship. You should be able to mentor people that are down the line of your directorate so that they move. There's that progression. That's why even the promotion that His Excellency has done is also helping this progression. People moving, from one level to another. So to replace the retired ones, more often people retire at the peak of their career. So the ones who are falling down the line, they would fill the vacancy at the top. But in terms of employment, new intake, yes, the unemployment in the country is something that we're living with. But for His Excellency, the Governor, he looks at strategic engagement, employment in the system. Like for instance, at the moment, there is recruitment of medical officers that is going on at the Civil Service Commission. He has renovated health facilities across the length and breadth of the state. And there was a yawning vacancy for medical officers to occupy these new facilities, and the renovated ones that His Excellency has completed and commissioned some of them. So that's why he gave approval for the recruitment of medical officers, to fill the vacancies that existed in that sector. And you recall, as he came in, he did review of recruitment of teachers, secondary school teachers. That about 5,000 of them were given appointment letter in 2015.
Yes.
So he had to review that because he was not satisfied with the process. So in the course of review, in fact, it was discovered that most of those people that were given appointment letter were not actually people that we can give our children, for them to teach. When you are a conscientious person, like His Excellency the Governor is conscientious, when he looks at the performance during interview of most of those people, you cannot give even your child in nursery school for such a person to teach. How much more at the secondary school level? So that process in the first phase and about 2069 or thereabout teachers being engaged.
Do you hope to employ more?
For sure, employment is continuous.
It's continuous.
It's continuous. You can't finish it at one sweep.
A lot of people want to talk with you. Let me open the phone lines.
You can't finish in one sweep. It's a continuous process.
Okay.
And also about last year.
Yeah, please hold on. Call back. Yes.
So about last year, he employed 3,000 primary school teachers in Subed. So he's doing this strategic engagement from one sector to the other, and it's a continuous process. You can't finish. I started by saying we are living with unemployment in the country, so you wouldn't expect the state government to just finish all the employment in one swap. So he's consistently moving and engaging the people of Akwa Ibom State in the civil service.
Well, this man seems to have answers of all my questions offhand, but I'm going to go to the big one very soon. But let me open the phone lines. The big part of the show is 080-3276-7729. And Solo, if you are ready, some of the questions on the social media, we will want to the head of service to handle them one after the other. We want everybody to participate. And this is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And with the way the head of service is talking, it goes to show the commitment of His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel in enhancing a very structural, or should I say, people-oriented civil service, where, of course, parents can definitely end what they put into the service. Some other aspects a lot of people want you to talk about. Sometimes some people are doing illegal employment. You heard, I don't know if you're aware, since the assumption of office, somebody will have to pay 200,000, 250, and get employment later. Are you aware of this?
Well, if nothing is impossible, the way our society runs now, let me even tell you a personal experience. Somebody in my church called me about a week ago that someone somewhere calls in that he has an employment line, and that the member in my church should come and see him. That I was going to provide.
Sorry, head of service, you have a caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Who am I speaking with and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Oyo.
Okay, go ahead. The head of service is here listening to you.
Good afternoon, head of service.
Thank you, my brother.
Please, my question is to do with debt by the federal government, debt to contractors and consultants.
Take that again, please. Take that again, please.
The question is, please, what is the state government doing about debt owed contractors and consultants that have worked for the state government past and present?
No, you're asking this question on a very wrong platform. The head of service is in charge of the civil servants, and he is not into contracts. And so please, maybe when next I have the Commissioner for Works and Commissioner for other, maybe Commissioner of Information will be able to lay down your question. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Somebody wants to take you off your office to answer a question from some other office.
I wish I'm handling a lot of the contracts.
Keep on calling if you have any issue in the civil service. This is the right platform for you to call in and then get some clarification. So if you're ready, we want to take some questions on the social media.
So while we're expecting the question,
All right.
I want to put this to the public that there are a whole lot of scams within the system. People try to obtain by false means from other people by way of saying they have employment. So I'm making this, sharing this experience so that people can be conscious, they can be aware that there is such ill practice in the system, and they should not be carried, or they should not be deceived, to pay money for any employment. Employment in Akwa Ibom State
It's not for sale.
is not for sale, and the Civil Service Commission has responsibility of advertising whenever there is vacancy of government. And you will recall last year, the Civil Service Commission called for people, to apply online, and it's through such record that workers. Candidates are interviewed and employment is done. It's not through any personal contact with anybody or through any middle man or middle woman on the line.
You inherited a committee that was set up to investigate the illegal employment by Savalata. And up till today, the public is still searching. What's going on? The the committee has not made public their findings. There was speculation that about 600 people were employed, and some of them had to part with about 250,000 to get an employment letter. I don't know if all these speculations has come to your table. I don't know if you're working on it as well.
His Excellency set up an audit committee on that, and that committee submitted its report. So at appropriate conclusion of the study of the report, I think the public will be made to understand that I think His Excellency also is implementing some of the recommendation as of the committee, and when he gets to the conclusion of it, the public will be.
Yeah, please, you can call back. The head of service is still talking now. You call back. Yes. Okay. Some of you who asked this question, or who said I should ask this question, some of you are sending messages to me asking. The committee set up the report. It's been made handy, and very soon government will publish it. I get to know those. But someone was saying, I've been employed by him and I paid some money. How am I going to recover my money? That is to tell you, like the head of service has said, don't pay for employment. Please, don't pay for employment. And of course, somebody just sent a message, said, good day, sir. I am one of the listeners of this program. I want to appreciate Governor Udom Emmanuel for appointing head of service who is a square peg in a square hole. God bless Akwa Ibom. Philip Anti.
Thank you, Philip Anti.
Okay, so are you ready for us?
Yes, you have a question here from one attack.
Okay.
The question is, please, sir, what is the government doing? He said, please, sir, what is the government doing in employing most of the primary school teachers that were sacked? It's like primary schools are not part of Akwa Ibom civil service. I'm not even getting what he said. Okay. Okay, is that putting it right? Please, the head of civil service should also address the issue of the remaining subject of the 5,000 secondary school teachers yet to be released.
Okay.
There's another question from one Clancy. He said, sir, shed more light on the 723 illegally sacked local government staff.
Illegally sacked. Okay.
Well, let me take those two questions. The first one about 5,000 teachers that were employed in 2015. I think I've addressed that in this program. Based on the review that was done, more than 2,000 of those people who were given employment letter in 2015 or thereabout have been employed in the secondary school system of the state. Then for the 723, they are not illegally sacked. They are legally sacked because they were employed illegally.
I love that. The way you're putting the question, I don't know. There's somebody that need to talk to us on this. The head of service has answered that question. And if you were employed illegally, so you'll be illegally removed. I think that's what it entails. While we are waiting for you to finish up with your questions, there are a lot of messages here. And I did tell people to send message, but for doing that, I'll try as much as I can to take them. He said, good afternoon, the head of civil service. My mother retired since 2013, and I am the next of kin up till this moment as I speak. After all the screenings that I have gone through, money has not been paid. Victor.
The mother.
Yes.
Okay, I mentioned here that for the next of kin, if the mother is not alive, for the next of kin, that is, excellencies are cleared the arrears up to 2015.
Okay.
So very soon, that my brother, would be attended to in terms of receipt of the mother's.
Okay, head of service, you have another caller here, Emmanuel Robson Bassey. Yes, Emmanuel, you are on to a live interview with the head of service.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm out of a lot of jobs you are doing since your assumption as head of service. I appreciate that and I love it. I want you to keep that good work going.
Thank you, my brother.
But I would love to confirm one or two issues regarding the recruitment of the 5,000 secondary school teachers that has been made and it was released on batches. Presently, the account and other commercial subjects have not been released and are still at home pending. Please, can you throw more light for me to understand what is going on?
That exercise is in progress. Like I have mentioned, 2,069 have been released. So more release will be done as appropriate.
Okay, the other names will be released soon?
It will be done as appropriate.
Okay.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I know a lot of people would want to see if it is going to be tomorrow, so that if you're watching us, it is a media chat with the head of service, Akwa Ibom State, in the person of Elder Effiong Essien. Talking to us, we get to know he's been in the system for years, and for him, workers' welfare is a priority to His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel. And now through the floor open for questions. Yes, my sister. Fire the head of service.
There have been agitations by some civil servants.
Yeah, please, hold on, please.
There have been agitations by some civil servants, particularly the female civil servants, asking for an extension in maternity leave. I don't know if there are plans underway to review the period given to women who have just put to bed in the service.
Yes, labor. The women arm of the Nigerian Labour Congress has come up with that proposal, and the proposal is before His Excellency, so for his consideration. If His Excellency the Governor approves such extension of maternity leave for the women, the civil service will implement it.
Okay, there's a message here. Please, Samson, as the head of civil service, what happened to teachers in most of the public school? We have inadequate teachers. What is government doing about it? Ezekiel Peter.
Yes, I've talked about employment of teachers for primary school and for secondary school. You know, one thing that the state is experiencing in education sector is the boom in school enrollment because of one, His Excellency's renovation of school facilities. This has attracted people to patronize public schools now, and also His Excellency's payment of exam fee and other
Making it free,
making it free and compulsory. So there is offshoots of enrollment in schools, and when you have this kind of offshoot, definitely there will be need to engage more teachers, and His Excellency has started doing it, I mentioned here that the engagement, employment is a continuous process. Year by year or period by period, His Excellency would release approval for employment of people into the school system. So as we receive the approval, the employment is done.
Head of service, we have less than 7 minutes to leave here, and a lot of people would want you to sum up the entire package for the civil servants, since they are the engine room of any government. Some are saying most of them are not taken care of. Some don't get leave grants, some don't get these, some don't get that. But from the answers you've given so far, government has changed gear of welfare to the civil service. And it is a delight for any civil servant to now say, okay, I'm working for this government, I'm proud. I remember when His Excellency went for a second term, civil servant went endorsing him, that he has shown them the path of true leadership. And also, I'm aware that, like you have put it out, the housing scheme for civil servants, a car loan for civil servants, and of course, pension on, immediately you retire. But you didn't tell us the process, because often somebody knows he's going to retire next year. He or she has not done anything. And immediately you retire, you started processing your papers. It's going to be difficult for you to be switched to pension. What can you tell them, the civil service?
So the automated system prompts the retiree that is going to retire.
Yes.
Apart from the retiree or the prospective retiree, taking prompt action. Letters will be sent from establishment notifying the person to start processing his retirement. By the time there is a salary printout, those who are retired or who are retiring are indicated. So the process helps to keep people alert and aware of when they are retiring, and they start that process. And whether you start the process or not, the automated system, by the time it is your last day in service, you are moved from salary from salary platform to pension platform. So people just need to process their papers and get the documentation of their retirement rights, and they should do it when they are prompted.
A very final one, so that I can let you go do your walk. This one is very important, and I wish those who are involved, those who've been calling. I've seen a lot of messages. Head of service, you have, I think, let me check the calculation here. You have several messages here, which I do not want to bore you with, and because this program is going to be aired on radio as well, so that people can learn a whole lot. When can't the state government take over primary schools in local government? Because local government seems to be lackadaisical over welfare of teachers, especially primary school teachers. They are complaining bitterly. And as somebody who has been in the system for years, you know what that means when you don't get your money. I know that the federal government has introduced a direct payment of allocation to local government, but still not help. I remember when His Excellency took over, he's been, assisting local government to pay salaries of primary school teachers. I don't know what local government is getting now. I don't know the figure, if it can go round. How do we now capture the local government, especially as regards to do with primary school teachers, their welfare? Because they are jealous. State is getting better than us. And there seems to be a little bit nonchalant. It has to do with the upbringing of our children.
Well, when you look at the local government autonomy now, and some of these policies, some of them are constitutional, some are legislative. So when you look at all these, it's not something that we can conclude here that yes, the state government should or should not take overpayment of primary school teachers is something that relevant stakeholders discuss and grind the pros and cons of it and come up with a policy, for implementation. And it would not be applicable to Akwa Ibom State alone.
36 states.
36 states. The autonomy of the local government is nationwide. So some of these policies and of government are not peculiar to Akwa Ibom State. So it's something that relevant stakeholders will be engaged to discuss and to agree on the way forward.
If you have an opportunity as a head of civil servants to advise His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Dom Emmanuel, on civil service, what would you tell him?
It's already my duty to advise His Excellency, the Governor, on civil service matters at the head of the civil service. I look at workers as the primary concern of government, to be able to grind the machinery of government in a way that government is moving in pace with the global best practice. And the system has changed now that we should look at making the service more result-oriented.
Automated.
More result-oriented through application of modern technology in doing some of the things that will cause bottlenecks or that cause bottlenecks in the process of action. So if some of these things are taken up and certain applications are made that ensure that the system, the civil service, is more result-oriented. Even at the same time, also ensuring that the process are not, or the processes are not tampered with. You are still ensuring that there's due process, but at the same time you entrench a technology that guarantees more result delivered in time.
Okay. Honestly, until now, I didn't know that Effiong Essien is this popular, and your popularity has shown throughout the period of this media interaction, and we want to believe Akwa Ibom people and even those watching us outside the shores of this country will patronize the effort of His Excellency in revitalizing the civil service. Like he said, well, the issue of carrying files, I wanted to ask you the typical one. He said, somebody sit on my file, oh, they don't allow me to be promoted. Somebody's envious of my promotion. Somebody is this and that. How have you been able to handle that one on a very party shot?
By my perception of the service, those kind of situations will be things of the past.
Amen. Thank you very much. Please, can we give him a round of applause as we stand up to celebrate the head of civil service? We want to thank you for making up to the program.
Thank you.
We also have time to bring you back, and you'll be talking to us as progress continues to evolve. And we want to believe that Akwa Ibom people will key into this vision of His Excellency to better the lot of the civil servant and create an opportunity for Akwa Ibom people to be self-employed. And he has bring up the industrialization agenda, which is very, very innovative. And Nigerians are beginning to look at Akwa Ibom State. And so maybe that's the reason you may not have so much people coming to civil service for employment. And on behalf of everybody made this media chat a success from Solomon, who is the essay to the governor on the ICT, and his tag crew, AIT, channels, and of course AKBC, ATA, Inspiration, and of course Mfon and Nosuna. The entire crew, we are so delighted that you honor the invitation.
Absolutely.
I'm also so delighted to have you
Thank you, sir.
in this program.
Thank you, sir.
Bless you.
Okay, the head of service is the presenter now. Thank you.
Okay, so
Solo?